oh my God, what's wrong? Let me fix it for you. How, let me make you happy. I can't believe that happened. Let me do this for you and fix that. I want to help you. Emotions, there's tens of thousands of different emotions. There's tens of thousands of different things that your body does. Okay? And these are emotions. And think of it, and you can have tons of different emotions at the same time. We do. We don't just go one emotion at a time. And think of it like an onion, emotions. There's different layers and layers and layers of an onion. Actually, I'm going outwards. You peel back and there's just more layers and more layers and more layers of an onion. You can be happy and sad at the same time. Isn't that crazy? You could be sad and depressed about a relationship that you're in because you just got out of it with a narcissist and you're depressed and unhappy and you don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, somebody makes you laugh. Now you're happy for a minute. Depression and sadness are much deeper, longer lived emotions. Happiness can be fleeting, momentarily. Okay? So somebody that's very depressed and anxious, and these guys can have fleeting moments of happiness. But there's one very important element to know. Okay? That if I don't process my emotions, meaning my body starts doing things, the next step is awareness of what that is, right? Is it happiness? Is it sadness? Is it anxiety? And these are called feelings. Feelings are awareness of what your body's doing. That's step 2 in processing emotions. Okay? But people with borderline personality disorder, their body does all kinds of things, and it's more intense than ours, and they can't regulate any of it, and it all feels bad, and it all feels scary, and it's all too intense, whether it's good or bad. It's too intense. I don't like it, David, make it go away. And whenever we do that, whenever we ignore our emotions and don't process them, and this is you guys too, we are trying to make these bad feelings go away on their own without giving them attention and processing them, and they won't. They don't do that. Okay? We can't numb emotions. We can feel momentarily better, and then whatever we did, that wears off, and here they are again. So people with borderline personality disorder are suffering major from childhood trauma. Major. They have depression, they have anxiety, they have fears, they have worries, they have all these things, and they're very intense. And they're trying to ignore them, they're trying to suppress them, they're trying to make other people regulate them for them. So they're running away from their emotions, and they don't want to feel that. It's the same thing as an antidepressant. Antidepressant should be called anti-emotion. It's not selective on which one. It's simply numbing what your body's doing. And when you're numbing your emotions, you are numbing emotion altogether. Okay, so if I don't like feeling bad and I take an antidepressant and that helps not feel so bad, well, guess what? Remember all the different emotions at the same time? Well, happiness, joy, excitement, these kinds of things are all dampened. Okay? Good luck trying to make people really happy that are on antidepressants. They might be a little happy, but they could be this happy. Borderlines that ignore their emotions could be happy, but they're not. Okay? And it's their job, just like it's your job, to make yourself happy. If you are dependent on others to make you happy, it's never going to work. And borderlines couldn't be more dependent people. I call them codependent on crack. They can't do much for themselves, and they're totally dependent. If you're in their life, they're dependent on you, period. If you are in a borderline's life, that means they are dependent on you. And you may feel like you need to make them happy. And if you do, this comes from childhood, typically, where your parents depended on you. And that might be very difficult to understand or identify, but it is worth giving the time and energy to find that out. You can do that with professionals that point that out for you. If we feel that it's our job to make someone happy, then that shows some dependency on our parents' part. They were dependent on us to make them feel better, to make them happy, to make them proud of us, things like this. Awful. It's narcissistic parenting. And this is why we date people like this, okay? So it's not your job to make anybody happy, and good luck trying to make people happy, okay? We can entertain people. Comedian go on stage and make you laugh. Does that mean you're a happy person? right? You're still depressed, you're still anxious, you're still grieving the loss of somebody, you know, and then you momentarily laughed from a comedian. Does that mean now you're a happy person? Not necessarily, does it? You're never going to make a borderline happy. Never. You might get on stage and perform and make him laugh a little bit. You know, I remember I've dated some pretty toxic people in my life. And I remember both the longest relationships I had with toxic people, they were very long, and they literally just wanted me to entertain them all the time. If they're bored, they might just throw something at my head. They might just start a fight with a grin and say something really nasty just to get me all excited, just for me to entertain them. And I used to stand up and go, and then when I figure out when they're bored and they're just bugging me, and I'd be like, oh, let me entertain you. Let me make you smile. And they'll be like, oh, God, get out of here. And I'm like, well, stop asking me to entertain you. Okay? Hope I answered your question. Can you make someone with BPD happy? You can make them laugh. You can make them feel good. Things like this for a moment. But it won't change who they are inside. It will not change their emotions. That is not our job, and we can't do it anyways to anybody. And really, that's kind of the whole deal borderlines want. They don't want you to fix anything. They just want you to keep trying. Here's all the borderlines problems, and you sit there and try to fix it and do this and do that. Okay, make this one okay. Yeah, that's all they want. They don't want you to fix all the problems. If you fix all their problems, what are they going to do now? Hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think. Thanks. And Wendy Best says hi from Bali. Hello, Wendy. Thanks for stopping in. And Aruj Aziz says, my borderline ex said that I was his world. But after some time, I realized that he was creating a solar system and I was the fourth planet in it. Not the third, not planet Earth. I like that. That's why I read it. Thank you. Libas Love. Hi, David. People are forgetting locations, and I can't remember where you guys are located. Try to remember to tell me. Thanks. Hi, David. I would like to ask you. I have this crazy sense of loyalty towards my ex-husband. It's nearly 2 years since the divorce, and I am doing really well. New job, new way of life, etc. Why do I still feel this warped sense of loyalty after all the deception and lies? Thank you, David. Well, it's kind of a loaded question. It could be so many different things going on, and I don't know. And you know, talking to you and asking you a bunch of questions would help me find this out. There's just so many elements to relationships, and I'm assuming that you're talking about a relationship with somebody who was maybe even abusive, but neglectful and probably a dependent. And then afterwards, we keep thinking about them and you feel like you want to be loyal. So first of all, you guys are over, okay? You guys aren't together anymore and this whole relationship is over. I don't know how you're still loyal to him, to your ex-husband, after 2 years since the divorce. And you're doing really well. I'm glad to hear that you're doing really well, feeling really well. But you have a crazy sense of loyalty. You still feel warped sense of loyalty after all the deceptions in life. So he was deceptive to you. He was lying to you, things like this. And you still feel loyalty. Can you explain more what you mean by you still feel loyal to him? Does that mean like you won't date anybody else still? And you feel like it's being loyal to him? You know, these relationships just get so blurry. The lines, so much enmeshment and codependency. And we think we're one person. I heard once that codependency is a feeling of ownership over your partner. And it is. It kind of is, doesn't it? How dare you? How dare you leave me and start dating somebody else? Why? Can't anybody do that? I know it hurts. It might be wrong. It might be shitty. But can't people break up with you and start dating someone else? Maybe it's the way they did it. We need closure. It just helps so much. And toxic people aren't going to do that. They aren't going to have insight or introspect and have some accountability and try to explain themselves very well and apologize and tell you the truth, and not going to happen. So it's very damaging. Besides the fact of the dependency part I talked about, the brain shrinking and swelling, and we become dependent on our hormones rising and falling. Even 2 years after, you might still have problems with this. And your brain might be saying, hey, remember that relationship? It made us feel better. We want that back. I don't know. Tell me more. Tell me more. Give me as much information as you can to help me understand your question. Do you have lots of friends? Are you being very social? Are you pursuing your own self-interest and stuff like this? That will help get our brain off it. You may not have talked enough about this. We may not be fully healed. You may be doing well now and feeling great, but when you think about your ex-husband, when you think about the marriage and the divorce, you think about the lies and the deception, and really think about that. How does it feel? How does it feel? What kind of emotions do you get? Negative? Feel bad, hurt, pain, anger? That means we're still processing what happened, and we still need to heal. There's probably some of that going on, I'm guessing, okay? But I think it'd be nice if you could just give me more details and be more specific about your question and tell me what you're doing that means that you're still loyal to him. That might be, I might have nailed it, huh? You're not dating anybody, and that's fine. That is for you, not because of him. See, that's the codependency, and we think that what we're doing is because of him or for him, and we don't want to do that. We hate him. I don't want to pick a different route to work. I'm going to drive right by his house, because then if I stop driving by his house, he's going to know that I'm doing that for him, and he's going to think that, and then I'm kind of giving more energy and attention into it, and I don't want it. No, it's not. No. Just think of it as he's dead, right? He's dead, and you're going to go to work, and it stresses you out when you drive by his house, so you're going to pick a different route because that's emotionally responsible. We may not be thinking that way, okay? We may be thinking that since I don't want to date right now, it's because of him, and I'm being loyal to him. No, you're being loyal to yourself. You're not ready to date yet, probably. That's a good thing for you. So stop thinking that what you're doing or not doing is because of him. Just start thinking about yourself, okay? And if you're not dating yet, that's probably good. I mean, if you were married to him for 10 years, 20 years, I'm just throwing that out there, and you just got divorced and almost nearly, didn't you just say, oh, I already got to the next question, but it was 2 years, nearly 2 years. You probably aren't ready to date yet, honestly. The longer you wait is really just the best for yourself. It is. And we have people in our lives, and we have friendships and stuff like this, but maybe we aren't ready for dating yet. Because if we had such a horrible, toxic relationship, there is so much to learn. So much to learn. And if we don't learn that and we get into a new relationship, we don't know what we're doing. We're navigating with blinders on. We're just going to make the same mistake. I promise. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about your question. Thanks. Richard from Ireland. Hello, Richard. Off topic, but where does Asperger's stand in mental health? And do you know any methods of dealing with someone who has it like a child and how it developed in the first place? Off topic, I know. It is. But amazingly, I get asked a ton of questions about autism. Asperger's is not really used anymore in psychology. They kind of drop that, and it's just all autism, and it's low and high functioning, okay? It's a spectrum that people are on, right? Do I know any methods of dealing with someone who has it like a child and how it developed in the first place? And that is still up for debate, okay? My opinion, I believe there's a genetic element. And I believe that we're born with it. And I just don't see how else it could be, because I've seen like, God, I want to say one-year-old or 2-year-old diagnosed. It's like, how much of their environment could it be, right? It just has to be born, genetic. There's 3 parts that make up who we are, and that's a major part of who we are, our genetics. And that's how it developed in the first place. I don't really know how else to answer this. Do I know any methods of dealing with someone? Well, dealing with someone makes it sound like you are forced to work with someone that has autism. It doesn't sound like you're trying to have some type of relationship with them, interpersonal, right? Can you ask me more, Richard? Because I don't think you're asking me, how do you date somebody? How do you have a child? Because you're saying, how do you deal with somebody who has it like a child? And I don't understand that part of your question. Can you ask me again, Richard, please? Thank you. So I know how to answer it. I often get questions about people with autism and narcissism. Is it the same? What's the difference? To a lot of people, they look similar, and they couldn't be further apart from each other. Totally different things. Completely. Personality disorders, you know, the three parts that take up who somebody is. Yes, genetics, you can be more susceptible to having a personality disorder. Your culture can have a little deciding factor in that. But the biggest is your upbringing. Always. I have yet to see or hear about someone disordered where you can't just easily pinpoint it. Why? In their childhood. It's a developmental thing. Totally different than autism. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm answering your question, Richard, because I don't think I'm understanding it completely. Can you please just ask me again? Give me some more details. Thank you. Lawrence from Ohio. Hi, Lawrence. Hi, David. Can you talk about how a relationship with a narcissist affects the brain? Thanks in advance. Thank you, Lawrence. And I kind of did in the beginning. And this was the question I was referring to. A relationship with a narcissist, how it affects the brain. It affects not everybody, only us. Okay? It affects us this way. People that have relationships with narcissists, fall in love with narcissists, have committed interpersonal relationships with people that have narcissistic personality disorder. Every time, I have found, every time, so I'm standing by this, the victims of it, the people who have relationships with narcissists, were terribly neglected in childhood. Emotionally neglected. Okay? We did not get unconditional love from our parents. It was conditional. We did not get the attention that we needed. We did not have our emotional needs met. There is a void. Not enough love. I'm not calling any of your parents bad, and I'm not saying that they didn't love you. Easily, I can say, not enough. And I will battle, even on a video, with anybody that wants to argue that. Not enough love from our parents. And when we're children, we need to get all that love so we can eventually grow up and be adults and leave our nest. If we did not get that as children, we seek it out until we get it. Whatever children don't get at home, they'll tend to stray away and go find it. We don't get enough love from our parents, we stray away and go find it, and that makes us more susceptible to predators, manipulators, liars, con men, period. Children, typically children that are molested by strangers, things like this, abused by strangers, they're more susceptible because they're not getting love at home. They'll go stray somewhere else to find it, and here's a predator saying, find it here, come here, you want some candy, some attention, you want to play games, stuff like that. And so we're doing that. We're growing up and we become adults, and we haven't gotten over our childhood yet, and not enough love. And we go seek it, and we find a narcissist who showers us with attention and adoration, because that's what's important to them. And that feels like unconditional love for the first time in our life, and our hormones go skyrocketing through the roof. Right away, we have oxytocin, dopamine, other chemicals in our brain that feels amazing and magical. Love potion. It even mixes in our stress chemical. That's why we get sweaty palms when we're around someone we really like. Or our throat might swell up and we might have troubles talking. It's incredibly powerful, isn't it? It started wars. That's how it starts affecting the brain right away. Relationships with narcissists are extremely unstable. They start out amazing and they turn into a total disaster, total train wreck. Okay? But how does it get from point A to point B? It takes time, and it's a roller coaster ride, and it's up and down, and it's I love you and I hate you. You're the only one in my life. There's Lisa. Okay? I'll never leave you. Goodbye. This instability causes our hormones to rise and fall. It shrinks and swells our amygdala. Causes all kinds of psychological and physiological problems. In children, we get headaches and stomach aches. First sign of neglect and abuse at home from children. If you know of children, or you have children, or when you were children and you suffer from headaches and stomach aches, you were probably neglected and abused, or both. It causes massive damage to our nervous system. It causes damage to our pituitary gland. It releases chemicals to make us on high alert. Because it's so unstable, we have no security, and we don't know what this person's going to do when they leave the house. We don't know when they're going to leave. We don't know if they're going to come back. We don't know if they're telling us the truth. We don't know if they're really screwing our friend. We don't know. There is zero security. And what happens is our brain releases chemicals that makes us on high alert, and it works really well. Like that vasopressin I was saying earlier, tachycinin. There's different chemicals that our brain releases, and it makes us incredibly high alert, looking for danger, and it does a really good job. The problem is it causes depression and anxiety. Here we are. This shrinking and swelling affects our focus, attention, memory. Who's not being affected by that at all? Frustrating, isn't it? Nightmares, eating disorders, anxiety disorders, addictions. Learning how to cope with the biggest stress in life instead of eliminating it like our parents should have taught us. And that's the neglect. Parents didn't help us keep us safe, navigate through relationships, communicate well. Parents weren't there for us for that. They didn't teach us. They failed us there. And now we're dating narcissists, and we're being massively affected. Nobody can be around this. Nobody can take this. Nobody can be healthy and strong and have a relationship with a narcissist. You can take the strongest and healthiest person in the world, lock them in a room long enough with a narcissist. They won't be strong. They won't be healthy. They'll have PTSD. I'm not kidding. Nobody can take this. Okay? The problem is our parents didn't teach us how not to take it. And that's why other people that were taught don't understand. The reason people don't understand what you went through is because it's very, very complex. You are the one that understands something very, very special that they don't understand because they haven't been through it, okay? Thank you, Lawrence. What's up, United Kingdom? Hello, Nessa. I can't agree more than equality and communication. I've released myself from a long-distance relationship due to toxicity in communication style, i.e. lies and projection. Got out real quick, but I've learned much about myself, and I'm thankful for the advice I've had here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for saying that, Nessa. I love messages like that hopefully other people read and are encouraged to try and have some hope. Jaden again from California. Hello, Jaden. Do you think a person can be in a healthy relationship if they've only been in one relationship ever and it involved a narcissist? I just asked because of patterns you've mentioned previously. You say we fall into the same kind of relationships, but can we learn enough from just one and not fall into another toxic relationship? Absolutely, Jaden. Not everybody even needs to learn this. And so we fall down and we go boom and we made a mistake and we learn from it and we don't make it again. That's the problems. People don't do that, okay? People that come to me, they aren't 16, right? And had a boyfriend that was narcissistic and broke up with them. And no, because that person, that was us, right? And then we go into college and we date another one and it was worse. And we might date another one for 10 years and it was really horrific. And finally, that's it. I'm finally going to go get help. So most of us have had a lifetime of this. This started in childhood, okay? It might be hard for you to identify this, but typically this stuff just gets worse and worse and worse and escalates until we can't manage it anymore and we finally go get help. If you've had one relationship and it happened to be with a narcissist, doesn't matter, okay? Learn everything you can. So learn why that happened, learn about yourself, fix anything you want to fix about yourself, and learn what a healthy relationship consists of. We aren't born knowing. We need teachers, and that's why we depend and rely on our parents so much, but our parents are teachers and they can only teach us what they know. The rest is up to us to do. We can complain and whine and moan and groan, but we've got to learn this ourselves because it's the most important thing in our lives to have relationships. It's not just a choice, guys, I'm telling you. You aren't living if you don't have any relationships with anybody. You don't have children, you aren't married, you're single, you have no friends, and you don't talk to your family, and you're like, screw it, I don't need to. I like it this way. Nope, won't work for you. Will not work. We need relationships with people, and our emotional needs must be met. And so, you made a mistake or you had a failed relationship, that's okay. Most people do. Just learn. There's no reason why you have to do it again. People that are doing it repeatedly just aren't learning. We're just making mistakes and we're making the same ones. And those are the ones that really hurt. Mistakes are really good. It is the number one way to learn. Think of two different people, right? And without getting deep into an analogy, you want to know really well about a certain topic that these two people claim to know. Okay? This person went to school, right? And he can describe to you what they know, what they learned, and they're telling you, okay? But what they're telling you is what their teacher told them, what they read in a book. This person totally experienced the whole thing. Which one would you want to get the information? Which source do you trust more? The person that made the mistake. Mistakes are great. They should be celebrated. I know, insane. David's going crazy. He says celebrate mistakes. Yeah, why not? Feeling guilty and ashamed and ignoring them. How many times are you going to make that mistake? You're going to keep making it. You're going to keep making it until you accept that you made a mistake, until you learn from it. And there is so much to learn from this. This is probably going to be your biggest life lesson. Or it's going to be your biggest life mistake that you repeat. Okay? Thank you, Jaden. Okay. T left me a short book here to read. I'm going to just try to see how much I can get through it till I get to your question. Michigan here. And hi, TK. Hi, Michigan. This is going to be lengthy. I apologize, but I will respond to your response, and I will respond to the video you provide the answer to this in, as I watch all your videos. Thank you. There is so much more imperative detail to this, but I'm going to compress it as best I can. 2 years together, first 6 months, he was head over heels, obsessed with me, and kind out of nowhere, he became a different person. He was cruel, cold, distant, but still present. Right there should teach you, we don't know people right away when we meet them. Take the time to get to know them and don't commit right away. Because you don't know who you're committing to. And I'm sorry. He was cold and distant, acted irritated by my presence, made no time for me, became so focused on work. My only time with him was while he was asleep. I would clean his house, cook his food, and make sure his clothing and work truck was clean. What did he do for you? Got to be equal. That sounds like you're already saying, no, I'm not equal as you. And I understand. You're like, no, I just love taking care of you. I just love helping him out. That's great. I understand that. Don't stop doing that. But you got to find somebody else who likes that and reciprocates. And I don't mean they need to go out and clean your car. They got to do something. They got to do something. I bet they didn't. I bet this person didn't. Made no time for you, became so focused on work. My only time with him was while he was sleeping. I already read that. Make sure his clothing and work truck was clean. He stopped interacting on social media. Got caught lying about quite literally everything. Let his mother disrespect me and try to fight me while he stood there. Never defends me. Put me last and let me know in the way I'm putting hands grabbing. Okay. So he was abusing you in a bad relationship, and he also let his mother abuse you. I'm going to skip to the end. I'm basically begging him to mistreat me. I'm ashamed. Why is he doing this? I've done everything right except react. I don't understand. Except react. Why can't you react? Why get married, stay married to someone who you clearly hate this much? Why not let me go? He ignores me. Anyways, it's basically the same thing. People, please help me. Love and respect, T. So, earlier you said how you had a nervous breakdown. You lost everything. You quit your job. You couldn't function anymore. You started taking antidepressants, which is just going to make it worse if you stay in the relationship. I have no more men left in my family. They have all passed away. So I turn to this channel for male perspective and help. Thank you. I'm so afraid at my very bottom, I cannot divorce him. I don't have the money to, and I don't have the strength to detach from his toxicity. But you can get away from him. You can get away from him. You want to stay married to him? You can't get divorced yet? You can get away from him. If you can't, get help. Do you have any money at all to hire somebody to help you? That's what you need. I don't know if you still have a job or you got a new job. Try and get insurance and try to get help. Do everything you can to try to get help. Okay? Your question. Why? Why is he staying with you if he hates you? Why won't he divorce you? Why won't he let you divorce him? He's never there and all this. What is going on, right? So the definition of a codependent relationship is we have problems, we don't fix them, and we don't end the relationship. Right? That's okay. Massive problems. He's abusing you. You hate him. He hates you, but he won't leave. And you're not either. Okay? Neither of you are leaving. It only takes one. It takes two to stay and work together. Doesn't it? Doesn't take one. If you don't want to be with him anymore, leave. You can do that. If that is still hard, we're really in trouble. We really need help, don't we? If there's something we can't do on our own, we feel like we can't do it on our own, we ask for help. I can only sit here and answer questions for you. It's not the real help you need. I will be the first to admit that. What I'm doing here, guys, for you is not the real help you probably need. You probably need more. So this is total dependency. Try to understand that. Maybe it'll help you. Total dependency. We have this relationship. I hate them. There's so many problems and I'm not going to fix them, but I won't leave them. Well, then what else is left? What is that? It's dependency. And your brain, during this addiction, will hold it up as the most important thing in your life. And it'll come before anything else. Taking care of myself, having different relationships with different people, screw all that. The addiction is all that matters. To him too. It's just an addiction. There's no architecture of this relationship. You guys never built it. It's just become total dependency. It's sick. And I'm so sorry. You probably have all the same symptoms as a heroin addict. I'm really sorry. You can take oxytocin right away. That really helps. Vasopressin, serotonin booster, 5-HTP. These are replacing the chemicals that you cannot bring up. You are not able to raise your hormones yourself anymore. Just like a heroin addict, just like a gambler who needs that fix. You need that fix. You can leave. You can. You're scared. You have this addiction, but you need to process these things to understand them. Talk about them with somebody, okay? Write it out. Do what you can. This is just total dependency. And it sounds like we've gone so far down this road, it seems very, very hard to get off. And now we need help. There may not be the help you need available, huh? You may not have the money. I'm terribly sorry. Exhaust all efforts. See if your state will help you. Believe it or not, guys, there's a lot of free help out there. And sometimes it doesn't have to be tea. It doesn't have to be the best, most credentialed professional in the world to help you. If you can at least just talk to somebody about this stuff and start processing this and have a little courage, right? A little support to leave, because you got to get away from him. I can see that you're not really clear on what's going on, okay? I don't know if I answered your question. Please let me know, and please keep asking questions, okay, T? Good luck, and I'm very, very sorry. You are okay, and you're going to be okay, but you got to get away from the source. You got to get away from him. Just getting away from him, you'll see how much better your life will be, okay? I don't know how else to help you this way. Thank you. I'm sorry. Good luck. You're going to be fine. We've got to make changes. Can't keep doing the same thing. You're going to end up in the same place. Okay? So we got to start doing things differently. There's my best advice for you. Start doing things differently so you can wind up somewhere else. But you got to get this person out of your life. Somehow, some way. Anything it takes. Get this person out of your life. Get away from them. It's causing damage to your brain. It will just continue to make things worse and continue to be harder and harder to get away. But Your biggest roadblock is this thing, thinking that you can't. It's just like somebody trying to quit. I'm trying to think of something, you know, like cigarettes or caffeine or something. And you're like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, it's so hard. Well, of course you can. You're going to be better off. You're going to be healthier, and you know. But your brain, oh, I can't. Oh, God, I'm so dependent on that. What am I going to do without it? What do you mean what are you going to do without it? Live your life? You know, that's where you're at. Except this is something much worse and much more intense. Good luck. Cassie didn't tell me where you're from. Let us know where your locations are, where you're at. Cassie says, acting out in violence, ... punching pillows, etc., ... doesn't sound good. Maybe I'm wrong. Can we teach children to deal with anger like this? And so I guess you're quoting me, but I'm not really sure how you're quoting me. I might have said punch pillows and acting out in violence. Well, violence in you know, if you want to go by definition, that's fine. But period, we need to help and teach children to express anger. And all of you need to learn how to express anger, okay? If we do not express anger, we're not processing it, and it will stay open. Real simple. Just like if you have a roommate or someone you're living with in your house, right? And you don't say anything the first time they piss you off, right? The first time they don't put their dishes away and they leave a mess out and you go clean it up. You don't say anything. Oh, it's the first time. It's okay. But you're angry inside and you didn't say anything, right? And you didn't do anything about it. You didn't express it in any way. And they do it again. They do it again. And you're even angrier. And you're like, but they're not home. They're not home. And you didn't tell anybody. You didn't express it in any way because you were taught that expressing anger is bad. It's violent. And so you don't do it. And then they do it again, right? And then you blow up on them. God, I'm so sick of your dishes and you're messy, you're dirty, God damn it. See? And so what happened? We didn't express anger, right? And it built up and built up and built up. Okay? We have to express and process our emotions or they stay open forever. Good ones, fine. We can recall and feel good again. Bad ones, we recall and we feel angry again until we process them. One way to do that is by saying it, by telling people, I'm angry. Describe it. My blood is boiling. I feel like, you know. And another way is exercising. Now, if you're saying punching pillows is violent, we can disagree on that. The difference is if no one else is around. Or if someone's around but they're not scared. We do not want to express anger in a way that is violent towards other people, and that is defined by other people that are there. Right? So if I'm in a room and I see a child punch their pillow because they're so angry and it doesn't scare me, is that violent? Right? I mean, how bad is it to punch a pillow? We can punch a punching bag, can't we? Isn't that okay? If I exercise and I punch a punching bag or I kick a kickboxing bag, is that violent? Then why is punching a pillow violent? Now, if I take the pillow and look at you and say, this is your face and I'm going to do this to you, that's violent. We don't do that. We don't scare other people, right? So I can be angry and I can, yeah, God, I hate this by myself. If someone else is in the room, they may not like that. That might be violent, but not by myself. Punching a pillow by myself, or if it doesn't bother somebody else, doesn't mean it's violent, okay? We got to allow children and teach children to express their emotions. Express them. Anger is so powerful, isn't it? Strong, strong emotion. Makes us do crazy things, right? And so if we don't release this and express it somehow, we stay like this. And then you have all these old people walking around all angry. And then you ask them, why are you angry? I'm not angry. And they might really think they're not angry. They're still angry for something that happened 37 years ago. I'm not kidding. And if we don't allow our children to express and process anger, they will remain angry. That emotion will stay open forever. Then they're taught to grow up to be angry people. Okay? I hope I made myself clear on the difference between expressing anger and being violent. We don't want to be violent. And if you, Cassie, are in a room where a child's punching a pillow and it scares you, yeah, ask the child to stop. Not good. But it doesn't scare me when a 4-year-old hits their pillow because they're angry. But that's me. We're different, Cassie. If that scares you and it's violence towards you, then we need to do something about it. And that's not right. So I agree with you on that part. But acting out in violence, and you're using punching pillows, etc. I don't know what etc. means. I don't know what else I said that is acting out in violence. But punching pillows, I don't think is violent unless you do it in a way that's violent, right? Like I said, punching the pillow, looking at you, son, this is going to be your head someday, right? But just a child that's angry, right, and doesn't know what to do about it, runs up to their room and punches their pillow, I think that's the same as working out and hitting a punching bag saying, this is my husband, I'm mad at him for this, I'm mad at him for that. That's not necessarily violent, okay? It's actually a good way to express your emotion and process it and not be angry anymore, okay? Thank you. Let me know what you think, Cassie. I never got feedback from my answer to you. And that's it, guys. Thank you. End of the question and answer videos this week. Please, everybody, ask me questions, okay? Help support me. You can subscribe and vote and comment down below. Tell us your locations. Let us know where you're at. I'd really appreciate it. Anybody that wants coaching, you can find me at daviddemars.com. The link is down there. Thanks, guys. Love yourself first. I'll see you next week.